I had to have something. It's weird. It's like spiritual macabre comfort, but in the Quran, it talk about how when Allah's judging man and his jinn, and man's like, the devil made me do it. And the devil's like, well, he ain't have to listen. And Allah throw both of them in.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always thought of this because I'm like, for instance, I've been getting into it with people lately, not with the intention of trying to get into it. It just be happening and shit. You start getting into it, and they be like, well, it wasn't my intention. Or I'm sorry you
The
perceived
path to
it.
hell was paved with good intentions.
It wasn't my intention, and someone get harmed, and it's just like, you spend like an hour, if you give it that, you spend it like a whole long ass time now talking about the person's intentions. Meanwhile, the consequence.
Ask them if you shoot me in the foot by mistake, or you shoot me in the foot on purpose. Will it hurt less if I know that you did it by mistake?
So I've tried to use those analogies, and then it's like, you feel like you don't have to argue.
You don't have to argue with somebody that offends you. You know, there's no excuse for offense. There's, look, you offended me, don't do it again.
So, yeah, because that's if you can't tell by my tone after that, it's like.
Yep. I didn't like that shit, and whether you don't understand it or not, maybe I'm gonna let you know this, because maybe the next guy might not be as nice as me, might punch you in the mother mouth.
I've been saying that. Yeah.
So guard first your words, guard second your grill.
On that note. My first question was checking in. How are you, man?
Man, I'm doing amazingly well. You know, as good as I can be. You know, the devil's at full alert and working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, like you always do. Devil and evil never take a break.
Ain't that the truth? You got like a new AC plan for that? Just, like, keep them cool, or you said fuck that and just lean into the heat?
Hey, it's like this. Just because you walk in the path, don't mean you gotta fight every demon that put his dukes up. Sometimes you gotta make them fools miss. Hit them with the UTEP two-step. You know, Euro step, crossover, step back, curry.
I would say Jordan, but no. So not having this.
I gotta take you to the hoop and back you down and dunk on you like Shaq every time. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be elusive. I'm gonna laugh on you. I'm gonna style on you. You just mad at me because I'm styling on you. You know, but I'm breaking your ankles, making you miss, and I'm laughing, easing on down the road. Why you go get your ankles treated?
Now, does that come from? I would assume that comes from just going through college.
Period. And learning from a bunch of young boys that were around me that were doing parkour. What parkour is a physical manifestation of a mental concept of basically learning to navigate physical spaces in the most ergonomic, energy efficient manner.
This is like coming up when you was younger?
This is like coming up when I was younger. Watching me and my friends do amazing things with our bodies that most people thought was impossible.
I remember my pops talked about being in the city. There used to be when you was running the street, you'd have like youngins that would know the ways, right? And so like you see it in some movies, like in Peaky Blinders. I had a scene where he had to go meet one of the IRA, and so he met one of the little youngins, and then there's like, "Are you that Peaky Devil Blinder or that devil?" And he's just like, "Yeah," and he takes him through the city, through this cut, through this cut, through this cut, going up this way. So that doesn't surprise me. See, that's how I want to parkour.
Yeah, that's how we invented parkour.
Damn.
You know, running from the cops and shit, run up on the roof, the cop chasing you, you jump off the roof. It's a 6th-floor building. The cop's like, what the f-?
I didn't believe my dad until I...
And then they look, and they see that we done caught the branch of the tree over there. They climb down the tree. They up there like, oh, hell no.
Did you used to hop between train cars?
All that. I used to hop from platform to platform. with one run and jump. You know, we did all that. You know, running from the work bums in the subways, and running from the cops and running from each other, playing the sports that we did. You know, but so if you can imagine the young people that do parkour, you see the amazing things they can do with their bodies. It's calculations, it's mathematics, it's science. They analyze the environment before they ever made a move. Because you better know what you're stepping on. You better know it can bear your weight. You better know if you can jump that far. You better know what's down there if you miss. You know what I mean? So these are all life and death decisions that we make. And if you watch people doing parkour, they make difficult things look very easy because they know how to analyze the terrain in front of them. And they practice a lot. You know what I'm saying? And they train. So if physical parkour looks like a miracle and looks like magic, can you imagine what mental parkour and spiritual parkour look like?
Everybody's imagination.
There it is. And there is where you draw your power from there. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can navigate two positions in the most efficient manner, you can fold space. And then time doesn't matter.
Did you, that reminds me of how they broke down time traveling in Doom, right?
Yes.
In the movie Doom?
Yes.
When did, my dad used to say this teacher was Prince Green who was the sun god from, I forgot what star system he had said he was from, but he used to take him out in the park where they had the sandboxes that they'd draw in the sand and then say, all right, repeat back to me what you got there and then cover it up. Who were those first lessons like with? They gave you those helping you with the Doom voice.
My brother Michael. My brother Michael was a magic being, literally. You know, he loved to read comic books and collect coins and stamps and stuff. All the things that was in the back of the comic books, my brother ordered. He taught himself how to fight kung fu by ordering all those little 5, 15 cent, 50 cent books out the back of the comic books. He really did that. You know, he learned Wing Chun, sticky hands, you know, and he wound up being a Buddha behind that. You know what I mean? Pretty amazing. But when other big brothers were taking their little brother up on the roof to shoot guns, my big brother was taking me up on the roof with a telescope and showing me the stars. Other big brothers were showing their little brother the streets. My big brother was showing me the universe.
Do you feel like that'd be lost today? That we don't get enough of? Is those kind of moments, the old to young?
Absolutely. Because me and my friends, instead of getting beer and cigarettes and sneaking up on the roof with weed or drugs, we snuck up on the roof with my brother's telescope. And we used to sneak pillows out of our houses. And we used to lay on the roof with our faces up at the sky and our hands behind us.
Yep.
And we did not know that we was black and Puerto Rican and immigrant, Polish, immigrant, Irish, immigrant, Jewish, immigrant, whatever you can name, Jamaican, Haitian. We were none of that. We were space travelers. And we made up our own stories about distant stars and we created our own universes. So by the time I got old enough to read novels, which I was reading novels when I was in the 2nd, 3rd grade, it was on and cracking. I already had that sci-fi imagination. You know what I mean?
Now, you just mentioned something. You said reading novels. I came up reading novels as a kid too. Cat Williams, he said he read I forget the number. He said he read thousands of books. Why do you think people don't believe that at a young age? Is it a thing because we black?
Yes.
Is it really that?
But my best friend when I was a kid was Riff, Reading is Fundamental program, and the bookmobile. And they used to bring books to my block. And I used to go up in that bookmobile and get every free book I could and read. I used to read in the bookmobile. It was like, oh, you can't sit in there and read. Just get the books and leave. Take them home.
Now, do you think it being vocalized to you, especially as a black man, that you're not allowed to read, do you think that's the thing that gives incentive?
Exactly. That's why they call it a library, because that's where they hide the lies at. But we know that the lies are there, so we avoid it. But the truth is there too. You just got to be able to process it. So it's not just about being able to read, but comprehension is key. You know. And we get so distracted. They get us distracted by so many emergencies, fires that we putting out. We busy putting out fires, but we never get to the nitty gritty. You know, we're busy treating the symptoms of white supremacy and racism. We never get to the core problem, the disease itself. Because the symptoms are so devastating to the world and our communities, you know?
Where do you feel like envy, jealousy plays in that?
All the 7 deadly sins play into it. You know what I mean? They have a system that they put in front of us, and then they have another system that really running shit, but the average person don't have access to it because it's above our pay grade. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people call them secret societies or Illuminati or gangs, secret governments. There's so many ulterior motives out there. You know what I'm saying? That you just got to be careful what you believe in and seek first the God in you.
I mean, pivoting from this here. All right, what? My mind had this question. What was or is the experience like of going blind, and what was the impact like in relation to others? She's asking from the context of 8 years doing chemo, and you're able to do something, and then you're so used to being able to do something, and now
It's taken away.
Yeah.
I knew I was going blind. That's the advantage that I had. I had time to prepare because I gradually lost sight in one eye, then it gradually lost sight in the other eye. So I knew what was coming. And I surrounded myself with succulents and some of the most beautiful flowers ever on this planet. You know what I mean? Jade plants and all kind of beautiful flowers and beautiful women. I just surrounded myself with beauty because I wanted to treasure it and to let it really marinate in my mind. You know what I mean? And
just like hearing you talk, just being able to get that kind of presence.
Just to be thankful, to be able to receive such blessings from the Creator, the blessing of sight, and being thankful and grateful rather than being bitter and angry and worrying about what I don't have, to be more thankful for what I do have and more appreciative for how many years, days, months, minutes, seconds that I had sight. What did I do with my sight when I had it? I used it well. I was an artist, painter, photographer. I treasured my vision because I saw things that the average person didn't see. And I could manifest that with my art and my photography. Like we can look at the same thing and I can see something you ain't see and I can capture it.
Yes.
And then when you see it, you be like, oh shit, that's clever. What a great placement in that photo. You know what I mean? You know, and I appreciate the fine things in life and the small things. And when I was working at mp3.com, I was in an airport going to Chicago from San Diego to go fix a problem that we had with one of the artists. I was feeling myself. I'm in a new job. My new job is flying me city to city, with blank checks. I'm fixing shit, you know what I mean? Fixing shit with different artists that are trying to sue us, you know what I mean? And feeling myself, I go in the bathroom and there's a an older white guy in the bathroom in the biggest wheelchair I ever seen in my life. It was a mechanical wheelchair. And he had a seeing eye dog. So this guy was not only blind, but he was paralyzed from the neck down. So he's trapped in the dark and can't even move. And I was curious, and I walked up to him. I said, "Excuse me, it's just you and your dog traveling together?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, how does that work?" And he said, "Oh, you see this wheelchair?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "It's a special wheelchair with special software that I created." He said, "I'm on my way to a meeting with a hardware company that's trying to acquire my software and hardware solutions for millions of dollars." And that was the most impressive shit I ever seen in my life. He immediately became one of my heroes. I don't remember his name. I didn't even ask him. I don't even want to know. But I will say that it was one of the most humbling experiences of my lifetime and one of the most inspirational moments of my life. From that moment on, I said to myself, I got no fucking excuses. You know? There's no excuse to fail at anything. You know? And I started looking at failure in a different way.
What do you mean?
Well, you can't win every time. And the way to learn how to be a winner is by losing. Nothing helps you learn how to win better than that nasty ass taste of losing. If you hate to lose or you're a sore loser, you got some good shit in you. You got that fire in your belly. Cause you know, you got that eternal inspiration. That's that God shit that I say when you can't go outside, go inside. You seek first the God in you. Seek your own inspiration, that own fire, that own passion in your belly. See, that's where your balls exist at. And that's why so many men have been demasculated because they don't know where to look for their own manhood. And everything is easy. The ends justify the means. You know? Nothing means nothing anymore. There's no honor, morals, accountability. Those are the things that need to reemerge in man and woman in order for us to be able to realign our children with success and survivability on this penile planet.
What would you suggest? What was your first step in that knowledge of self journey of looking with that? Like first book or first movie that led to that?
I would have to say the autobiography of Malcolm X by Alex Haley. I read it as a second grader and third grader, and I understood everything I needed to know about white supremacy.
Did you find other people at that age that was similar to that?
Of course
that
not.
read that?
Of course not. Reading was a solo act. It was something I did by myself.
Got it. Yeah.
You know, when other kids was playing with toys, my mother had me playing with words. She bought me word puzzles and crossword puzzles, find the word puzzles, and you know, and every day I would do them, and I would quietly sit there while my mother worked. She would take me to work with her before I could go to school. And every day I was in my womb or her womb, she read to me in the womb and she sang to me. And her voice was like a siren song to me. And to this day, my mother's voice is the most comforting thing I can think of.
That's the truth.
I think I'm in love with my woman more because her voice is so calm, soothing, comforting, full of compassion. And it's like music to my ears.
How do you deal with being someone who has range in voice, right? But I would assume folks take you as booming. So when you have that yin yang right? How do you balance that?
Well, that's all. I was born on July 20th. It's called the Day of Ups and Downs. According to my zodiac standard, I'm supposed to be careful not to celebrate too hard and heavy when things are good, and not to be depressed and sad when things go bad, because feast or famine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doomed to have it all, doomed to have nothing, doomed to have it all. So my key is to always be balanced. And if you're always balanced, you don't have to save for a rainy day. You live within your means. One of the things that fame, money, being notorious, one of the things it does, it's like a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? It's a blessing and a curse.
Hmm.
Fame is like the greatest drug. Boy, that dopamine, like nothing else when people are clapping.
So with that, like, you know how you got your own, when you're trying to figure out what do I do with this skill or this thing that I made, right? You put your own value on it. You got your own value with that, and let's say you bring it to market or bring it to other folks. What do you usually tell yourself when what you're bringing isn't being valued, and you're trying to find that value?
It's not my job to determine the value. One man's garbage is another man's art.
Even if you make it.
Yeah, I made it. Everything ain't for everybody. I don't like every goddamn thing. You know?
Did you ever struggle to find that value?
No.
Or?
No, shit. All you gotta do is walk through the supermarket in the produce section, and every grape ain't perfect. Sometimes you grab a grape, you grab the wrong one, you be like, ugh!
Now, is that because you'd rather own the supermarket as opposed to being a...
No, I'd rather grow my own grapes, but I don't mind going to buy grapes if somebody else grew them right. I'm not gonna grow every variety of grapes. Sometimes I want cotton candy grapes. I ain't growing all the grapes I want. Green grapes, red grapes, Stevens grapes, black grapes. I love all kind of grapes. I like variety, spice of life. You know what I'm saying? So mix it up. I like choice, not a false sense of choice. You know what I'm saying?
Elaborate on that. False sense of choice.
Well, like the voting. You have a false sense of choice. You got two choices. This guy or that guy. Well, I don't like neither one of them guys. Well, this guy is the lesser of two evils. Well, just like everything else in life, if you only got two choices, it's a false sense of choice. I don't like neither one of them. I want that motherfucker right there. Why can't I have that? You know?
Do you think we have a hard time? Better question. Why do we have a hard time making a choice?
Because we can't play the game because we don't know the rules. Every time we learn the rules, they change the fucking rules. And they move the goalposts. But the bottom line is that there are people on this planet, when we're looking at the lesser of two evils, I'll choose the lesser of two evils, especially if I can negotiate and talk with one of them. I don't care what differences me and that person had. If I can negotiate and talk with you, then we don't have to kill each other. Well, if this one, like the ideas you have are so old-fashioned and so bad for me and my people that I'm going to have to go grab a gun to defend myself against you.
Do you feel like we are in battle royale still?
Well, there's a statement that was made by one of the founding fathers of America that said, every now and again, the tree of freedom must be watered with the blood of both patriots and tyrants. Because some people can't be negotiated with. Some people are so anti-you and them there that the only solution that agrees with them is to eliminate you, that you should not exist. And I cannot negotiate with that. You know? I've been given a directive from my creator that the most powerful vibe and feeling I have is survival of the fittest. The strong survive. I have a lot of people over the last 20, 30 years have been looking at the violence that young melanated people have become capable of in America. And I used to not say what I really thought.
Why is that?
Because I was hoping I was wrong. But the conclusion I came to over 20 years ago is that the only way that the Creator would allow our children to become violent, cold, calculated killers is preparing them to have to need that. And we don't understand what happened or why it's happening. But they've been prepared for the coming of a hellstorm that is very possible right here in America and in this world. And we're watching it materialize all over the world, from Gaza and Palestine to Ukraine and Russia to Taiwan and China to Haiti against Haitians. You know, it's getting hot in here, so take off all your shit. Getting so hot, I want to take my shit off. Yeah, so that part.
My mom had another question. Like, I mean, it kind of goes with what you just saying. What the hotness? Like, what do you see going on? I mean, you already spoke to that. From the context, because when I'm listening to you, I'm listening on multiple levels. Like, you're speaking not just as Dice, you're speaking on multiple personalities, right? So, like, she was asking specifically, I guess, from one elder to another, what do you see going on and around you as an elder, old head? What does it make you feel?
And what I see going on, it makes me sad, but at the same time, it makes me inspired.
To the last point you was making about it being hot?
Well, what makes me sad is that a lot of the elders who have the information, the knowledge that young people need, don't know how to communicate with them because they just lost the connection with themselves. You know, we're afraid of our own grandchildren now. You know, we're afraid of our neighbors now. You know what I mean? And the funny thing is they taught us to be adversaries with the very people that we need to unify with to survive. You know? The foolishness of white supremacy, the foolishness of racism, the foolishness of discrimination and hatred will be the death of us all. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? If we can find a way that we can heal ourselves, then we can heal our planet. But our planet is not going to heal if we don't first heal man and our appetite for destruction in the name of profits. You know?
You're a proponent and opponent of filters.
Okay.
You're probably one of the most unfiltered, filtered people I know.
You know?
And I think a lot of folks don't understand that. What is it? How do you balance that? Being filtered and unfiltered, like in the sense of a yin yang, it's still yin yang. Right?
Well, you know a person who is comfortable in their own skin because they just don't give a f. You know what I'm saying? My elder Harry Belafonte was one of those dudes. And before he left this planet, he tried to mentor us with those qualities. And I see a lot of those qualities inherent in some of the people he mentored, like Dave Chappelle. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I see it inherent in some people like Ice Cube, some people like Cat Williams. You know, there are many people out there who basically have determined, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to just speak my truth and speak peace and truth to power. Mm-hmm. And if repercussions come at me because I'm dishonest and I'm saying this, then you know what? F it, you know? And I feel the same way. That's what is my freedom. That I know that freedom is a road never traveled by the multitude. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but I also know that if you just go along and get along throughout your life, you'll never satisfy yourself or anybody else. You have to draw a line sometimes and stand for something.
What do you think honor and shame fall into that, especially like with hip hop culture?
Well, a lot of people they don't respect and love their mother and father or their grandparents. They don't know their ancestors and they don't love them. Because if you knew your ancestors and your parents, you would be ashamed to embarrass them. I'm scared of embarrassing my mother, and my mother's been on the ancestor side for 8 years. You know, I will never shame her. I still hear her voice. I still act like I had a mother and a parent. I had good parents. I act that way because I honor them by doing it. Because when I see some people, I be like, damn, they don't give a f. They just like ratchet for no reason at all. Don't care.
It's like spiritual AI.
Who see them, smell them, you know, whatever. You know what I mean? And I think that's unfortunate. But with people who don't know who they don't know why they should be honored and be honored. They don't know why they shouldn't be violent toward other people. You know, they don't understand how royal their own blood is. How are they going to treasure the blood of another? You know, how are you going to treasure the great history of, you know, great men and women who are Muslim? How are you going to appreciate the greatness of a lot of Hebrews? How are you going to appreciate the Native Americans and people all over the world who are poor with dignity, who might not have everything they want or everything they need, but they got a beautiful, warm smile when they greet you. And they'll share whatever they have with a stranger, even their food, even if it hurts them.
How do we go back to being that level of compassion? Or is that compassion? Is that understanding?
We have to stop being so religious and start being more spiritual.
Explain.
Stop worshiping idols, idolatry, and individuals, and instead of worshiping a entity, learn what lessons those entities were trying to pass on to us and live by those values. You know?
Is there any I know for me, like in Islam, we'll have like go-to verses or stuff like that. Is there like a go-to line, chapter, book that resonates with you, that speaks to what your mom?
Yeah, street parables.
Street parables.
Yeah, street parables mean a lot to me because I was taught by poor wretched teachers in the streets, not by preachers, pastors, imams, or none of those guys. Mm-hmm. Even though I did have access to all of those kinds of great elders later on in my life, but I developed from the street up, and you know, basically just practice what you preach. You know what I'm saying? And if your shit that you got to spit and debate with, if that shit ain't working for you, then just save that shit, man. F you and your shit in your book. If it ain't working for you, if it's working for you, if you like it, I love it. I'm happy for you. I want every individual to find something that works for them. And for many great people on this planet, the Prophet Muhammad and the Quran fills that void in their needs. And I love it. Nothing better when I meet a Muslim who is into the practice. It's like you're the safest place in the world with that person. That person has Allah exuding from his skin. You could feel it coming out their pores. I love it when I meet a Christian that is in the mode of Christ. Like Mahatma Gandhi said, I love your Christ. It's your Christians that I don't understand. I wish your Christians was more like your Christ. Your Christians are so unlike your Christ. That part, you know, but there are beautiful Christians out there who practice their faith and provide food, clothing, shelter to strangers, who has kindness and compassion in their heart for man, woman, and child. There's many glorious and great people that follow all different chambers. You know what I mean? Shaolin got 36 chambers. You know, we're not going to agree on everything, and everything ain't for everybody. That doesn't mean you're right and someone else is wrong. You know, that's why the Creator gave us free will. And why the Creator created so many different paths that all really point to the same direction.
In saying that, when it comes to this thing that people call absolute truth versus relative truth, like I do believe
that's so arrogant, though. You know, because we know for a fact this world is billions of years old. We need to stop playing. This planet has been created and destroyed more times than can be counted.
No, so you said destroyed. I bet a lot of folks that will get caught.
Transform. Let's not use
You saw where I was going. Because I see folks get hung up on the word, even though it's not like you're incorrect.
Yeah.
What you said.
Yeah.
Like
it's nature. That's what happens. It's like plants that we plant.
When they talk about
some plants are perennials, some plants are annuals.
End of the world for some folks hasn't translated into the end of the season.
True that.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, to your point, like you don't have to obliterate the whole rock in order for it to not be destroyed. You can strip it up.
Yeah, hey. Oh, your mother's upside down? Okay, upside down.
There it is.
10 million years, you'll come back. Different. Or not.
That was his most,
So therefore, the only reason we are still here is because we have evolved. Every time the planet evolves, we evolve with it. But you gotta keep it around.
Do you feel like we have
I think we got the whole shit wrong. We've been so lied to. They try to tell us that we're the ultra intelligence on this planet. We're the alpha. Really? Are we the alpha for real? No, we're not. There's something that's been here from the beginning of the time that'll be here when it's all over and done. And it's called bacteria. Bacteria is alive and functioning. There's more bacteria cells in your body than there is you.
Yep. That's weird and wild to think of.
So we are hosts. We're symbiotic hosts that are kept alive by bacteria until it feels like eating us. And then it's going to eat us. Because it's been eating us since we were born. We ain't nothing but a big ass Scooby snack for bacteria. And we think we running shit.
He said the Scooby snack.
I bet you didn't think you was gonna get this conversation.
I know. Actually, no. I knew I was exactly what kind of combo. No. Did I know? Like when I was shooting the intro for it, I was like, "All right, young, you on our way to go see Elder Brother Dise? We're gonna have a conversation. I got questions, but like I'm just letting y'all know now. Like, it's not gonna go how it's because if it was a conversation, and that's when I was doing like communication school, and just even coming up with pops and moms, just been watching old school news. I don't know, just the conversations that you would love and enjoy to hear and that you would learn from would be where I'm hearing people's stories or their perspective on life. I'm hearing it in a way where they're not caring about being politically correct, but they might care about being artistically correct or scientifically correct or something within they could be shared with others. And then that's what I mean about relative truth. Like, how do we bake a cookie? Right? Like we all, or cake. My dad used to use cake. Like you use, all right, there's a absolute-ish, I guess, way of making a cake, but it's going to remain absolute-ish because what's the prime cake we're measuring this all up to? I guess would be that's always been my question. What's the prime that we get to? I mean, so it's been always been a lot of shit. I just appreciate, like I said, starting before coming here, just trying to think of like, all right, you have time with an elder who knows you. You have time with an elder who doesn't know you. And they're giving you time. What do you say? Like my mom, for instance, she just found out today when we was talking that I treat every phone conversation as if it might be the last. Where I'm like, I don't know. I was like, shit. I was like, when I got the call, she was in ICU. When Pops was just like, hey man, when you coming? I was like, we was trying to come in a week. He said, I'm gonna need you to come sooner than that, right? We just opened up for Beans and Freeway that Friday, Thursday and Friday over there at Spirit. We on the road to go see him, help him with his he went into a trance, some seafood sensei trance. Saturday going into Sunday and reading Quran to him. He passed Monday in the morning, right? And then we back to work the next week, right? This my life has not stopped or changed really from them.
Yes.
Right. So like this was a year after your mom.
Wow, that's deep.
Right. And it was like that's there'd be things like that where you get paid. You're 10 days up. I'm July 10th. You're July 20th. Like Nerd Boy, you got the same birthday as us. Winston Bell, he got the same birthday. All three of us got the same birthday. It's
July 10th.
July 10th.
My stepdaughter Jasmine is July 10th. Tiara's older sister.
My niece. Her name
is the first one that I raised. As my baby.
I didn't know what to. I know if I say you'll be like, Dawes, you're not gonna waste my time. I still don't want to come into anything where it's just like I'm wasting someone's time. Not on some time is money shit, but like on some.
You know what though? This is valuable to me. You know, on many levels. You know what I mean? Not just the respect that I have for you as an artist, but as a human being. You know what I mean? The respect that I have for your dad and your mom. You know what I mean? You're a kindred spirit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to talk with my pops. Not too many folks from
many times. At least 5 or 6 times.
Not too many folks are taking that
he used to call
opportunity.
Me just on his own.
On Humbug.
Yeah, just to talk about you. Tell me to look out for you.
I appreciate my
Tell me how great you was and, you know, how much he loved you and how good it made him feel that, you know, that I would have your back in his absence.
How do you, for you as a father, how do you
I accepted those responsibilities because I have children and grandchildren. And I raised my children from afar. I had to depend on the community to help raise my kids and to protect them and keep them safe. And in order for that to happen, I had to do the same for other people's children. And the karma that I put into the universe by looking out for other people's children protected mine as best I could. So one day I won't be here, and I would love to imagine that someone will be there for my grandson, my daughter, my seed, in the same way that I'm there for other people, that someone else would just pick up the mantle and just be kind and considerate to them.
Some Batman shit.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a favorite superhero coming up that like inspired you?
Yep.
Who?
Muhammad Ali. I had the comic book when Muhammad Ali kicked Superman's ass. Shit, you couldn't tell me nothing.
Was there a favorite fight, favorite line?
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Your hands can't hit what your eyes can't see. Rumble, rumble, young man, rumble. Ah. You know, I'm fast. I'm so fast, I can turn the light out and be in the bed before the room get dark.
Yeah. I was watching his wife talking with Michael Franchese. That's his name, Michael Francis. Mm-hmm. And they were just hashing it over Muhammad's just life coming up, and she broke down how she was the one giving him the rhymes, man. Mm. And then she started spitting, and then you heard it. Like I was like, oh snap, that's wild. Yeah, man, it's super wild. Ali was a superhero to me. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr. was superheroes to me. The Black Panther, T'Challa was my dude. Hmm. You know, I had all his comic books. You know, I was just so fortunate. And hip hop and rappers became my superheroes because the names of rappers, Grandmaster Flash. Yeah. Come on, Flash. Mm-hmm. Where that from? Yep. Cool Herc and the Herculoid sound system. Remember the Herculoids? You were talking about that on when you broke that down on Questlove? Yeah. I was like, oh, that does make sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we started getting the flyers with all the artwork. Mm-hmm. And then some of them would have Muhammad Ali on the flyer, Spider-Man, Iron Man, you know what I mean? Some of that artwork coming back. Yeah. For real. Did you see the book that me and Pete did? We did a book, a flyer book with art of 250 rare old school flyers. I remember when you, this years ago, you busted the book open. Mm-hmm. One of your books that you had. And it reminded me, I got my dad's jazz one. We got Gil Scott and Betty Carter and them. Just a whole bunch of jazz people. And it's just, I like seeing that. I like seeing the faded paper with the picture on there. I like seeing the grain of it. Just and then when you got that mixed with advertisements, you get to actually see. That's when people was printing it on different colors. You had like the purple one, the green one. You had all these different colored ones, just so you could have options and varieties. Yep. Do you think we hand out flyers enough in this day and age? Do you think there's a place for them? Because I definitely have a place for them. Because it's still a question that people will ask because everything's so quote unquote digital. Yeah, I like physical flyers still. You do? Yeah, because it's like receipts. That's why I collect flyers. Flyers are the receipts of the culture. You feel that way about, I would assume, like turntables? Or not turntables, mixtapes, vinyls, medias. Yep. T-shirts. If you had to choose a favorite medium of media, what would it be? Out of all the video. Why? Because video is three-dimensional in your mind. Video without sound or video with sound? Video with sound. I had to throw a curveball at you. Oh, for shizzle. Yeah, I mean, video don't help me now. But thank God that I was exposed to it. Because now I could dream in 3D. I could think in 3D. If I never saw the dimensions, I wouldn't be able to process it. What's that been like? I tried to explain it to folks, and I think I just need more work on explaining it. But when it comes to like watching the phases of technology, right? Whether it be just streaming in general, you've seen that from its infancy when iTunes had it was doing their whole playlist thing. It wasn't even really, giving it the love that they're giving it now. Like when I first started uploading music, it was on SoundClick and D Music. And I remember when you and I was talking about MP3, and you said I had an account. I might even still have an account on MP3.com. What has that been like watching? Because you had a hand in helping with the filtering of this, right? I love technology. If it wasn't for technology, there would be no advances. People complain. I was like, even like some old school DJs that complain about the loss of vinyl. And I said, well, why don't you DJ on old school RCA controllers? Is vinyl lost because they're not quote unquote pressing them anymore?
No, they're still pressing.
No, they're still pressing them,
but it's just not necessary. It's wasteful.
Hmm.
The analog sound of vinyl is still amazing, but vinyl is still pulling oil out to earth. You know what I'm saying? It's still not all that. You know what I mean? But I do love the analog sound. You know what I mean? But I can recreate that without having to have it on vinyl. That warmth. You can run tubes and shit.
Yep.
Tube amps and speakers, but who wants to? But come on, let's get with the future. You know what I mean? I don't want to be stuck in the past. If I want to be stuck in the past, I go buy an old ass turntable and stay there.
That kind of remind me of the video game retro emulation market, or even the software retro market, where I think you just answered it. Is there really a need to play, let's just say, Super Mario 3 or Galaga on Atari and Nintendo if you could just emulate it on the computer?
Yeah.
Like, if you're playing it on a different controller and all that, doesn't really matter. Is the experience about the game? How much of the experience do you actually need to have? Like we got the MPC right here, right? Yeah. It's got the pads on there, but it's made by a Kai, so it's going to be the MPC
workflow from a Kai.
Exactly.
Yes, MPC workflow.
Do you think folks just don't see it as that? I think that
it's just. I think it's good to do emulations if that's where you live in. I think people should just be free to enjoy shit the way they want. If they like it, I love it. I don't like judging other people's experiences. Like I said, once again, everything ain't for everybody. Everything ain't for me. I walk past a lot of rooms that some people go in. I ain't interested in going in that room. That's not what I'm about.
What do you find? I like the way you worded that. And the reason why is just in talking with you, you don't limit someone's, even if they're your opposition, you don't limit what they're allowed to say, what they can't say. You brought up a good point when it comes to judgment, for instance. When do you feel, if you feel, judgment is necessary, and to what end?
When people are being exploited and hurt.
Should everyone have a general way of knowing what exploitation look like at this point, or?
Not really, because there's many different kinds of exploitation. There's sexual exploitation, spiritual exploitation, physical and violent exploitation. There's emotional exploitation. There's many things that people do on the way to illegal exploitation that are sometimes more damaging. The legal shit is more damaging than the illegal shit sometimes, But, everybody's different. You never know. I don't hate people because of who they love. I hate people because of who they hate. I'm a more live and let live kind of person. What you eat don't make me shit.
You don't hate people because of what they love. You hate them because of what they hate.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've never heard it put that way before, I don't think. So, how have you ever been able to convert a racist from not being racist anymore?
Only a racist can do that for themselves.
So you just being friends with someone or being family with someone, that wasn't the catalyst. It would just be.
I don't know. Because everybody's not uniquely honest in the first place. There's probably a lot of racist people that are my best friends in my life, and probably a lot of people that were my good friends that I disagree with. Don't even know I disagree with them. Similar to the conversation about said hip hop icon who f***ed up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like I love you, but I hate you. I don't ever want to hear your voice again in my life because I don't agree with what you did. And I really am impactfully angry at people who exploit women and children.
Be feeling just the need for an Injustice League or Justice League of some kind.
Yeah, well, it's just us. We have to, that's the thing about freedom. Freedom ain't free. But freedom is also not the lack of violence or the lack of struggle or strife.
Hmm.
Freedom is the presence of justice.
Yeah, enforcing it. What was the most safest you ever felt?
When I was a little kid, I was in the black community. It was Wakanda. We had everything. It was,
This was in the Bronx? Or
yeah, wherever I was at, I was safe. You know, I was with my people. I was with family and friends and people that cared about me and loved me and didn't exploit me or molest me. You know, I was fortunate. I give great credit and great props to the community of Highbridge and the Bronxdale projects where I grew up in, where older people cared about our upbringing and our good well-being.
You still remember things like what it sound and smell like?
Hell yeah. I remember all them ass whoopings I used to get too. I deserved every single one of them, even the ones I got that I didn't think I deserved at the time.
Hey, I gotta ask you, because you're the only, this might be a New York thing, because Queen's Flip is like the only other person to admit and say, I think within 2 weeks' time, deserving ass whippings.
Man, thank God
Like,
I had to threaten that ass whipping. That somebody cared enough to threaten to whip my ass. Because there was so many pitfalls, and if you fell into these things, you're done.
when did you grasp that? The acceptance
Never.
of
Well, you see people dying left and right.
No,
the bodies hit let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. No, you be God. When you see that shit, it's like, well, damn.
Oh, yeah, that's facts.
You know, we didn't have to imagine the message. Melly Mel spit, don't push me because I'm close to the edge. We knew that shit before we heard it. Yeah, we know that danger. We're no stranger to danger.
That's a great song too.
You know?
The what's the song? Danger from off the Spider-Man soundtrack, Amazing Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Shout out to Black Spider-Man.
You know? I think you got a definite different conversation from me than anybody else has ever had.
I totally agree. So I'll leave it on the final question then. I'll just cut into it. This comes from Ma. I think that's a good one to end it on. She said, "What legacy do you want to leave behind, and how does the blind man who sees wish to be seen?"
I would like to be remembered as Tugboat, the little ashy skinned chocolate little kid with nappy hair, with a big smile on his face standing on the corner in the South Bronx, with a world full of wonder and treasure ahead of him, not knowing what's going to confront him, but willing, ready, and able to take on the adventures that the world had to offer. As an old man, I want to keep that innocence of that little kid with that gleam in his eye, looking up at the universe and wondering what the future holds for me and which of these stars I'll travel to on my travels.
I really thank you for your time today, man. Like, straight up. Because it'd be I mean, you already know. It's rough out there. It's wild out there.
It's hard out here for a shrimp.
My 5'7.5" black Joe Pesci self here.
Hey, think about it. If it's so hard out here for a pimp, imagine how hard it's out here for hoes.
Mm-hmm. There it is. Just put some respect on the game.
You know?
But I really thank you, my mom. Thank you. I'm just trying to get to paradise.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
As a matter of fact, when I met my elder Sonny Carson and Lumumba, Professor X, introduced me to his father, my elder, he looked me up and down. He was like, hey Dad, this is that guy Paradise I've been telling you about. He looked me up and down slow. What kind of name is Paradise for a nigga? And I was like, actually is more of an invocation, a reminder of my goals than it is an actual name. And every time I hear someone speak it and invoke it, it helps me take one step closer to my goal. And it was like, oh, you're a smart nigga too, huh? You know?
Well, as my, hey, I'd rather be a smart ass than a dumb ass.
There you go. All
But no, I appreciate allowing me to spend time to check in with you, just kick it. And this is not the last time. Just,
for sure.
You know what I mean?
And this is your room to run around in. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. It's definitely the sandbox.
Be able to focus and play. You know, get out your way, give you access.
Yeah, just having a space to tinker in.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to be surrounded by all kind of amazing people. Different vocalists, different instrumentalists, everything. Collabos that we're going to be able to do are going to be mind blowing.
It's what's the word? Ready at your guidance. Because
what we have to do is just curate the world that we want to see. If we be who we be, then we will be who we be, and we will end up where we want to be.
That's what
it's not going to happen by happy chance. We have to intentionally grind this out and make it work. There's no alternative. And there's no failure. Impossible. We cannot fail.
Why you say that?
Because we cannot be angry at young people for not knowing what we didn't teach them. We have to open the libraries and reveal the word. In the beginning, there was only the word. And the word became the true and living God. So we have to use the word wisely because words have power.
Yes, they do.
You know? And if words didn't have power, they lied to us. They said, sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you. The words were powerless with a chants, with our prayers, songs, incantations. What are those? You know? So we have to just focus, click, and get on our right frequency and become more in tune with the earth and each other again. And each other is where we find our salvation. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Ramadan Mubarak.